Good morning, campers. So this video is going to be an introduction to a series that I want to make on my channel. So today I'm going to explain what the series will be about and what shadows and parts of self we will be addressing in those videos. It's going to be a little bit of a reversed mother wound. So what I mean by that, we talk about mother wound a lot. We talk about how to recognize mother wound within, how to heal it, how to understand it. I always highlight to you guys that mother wound and father wound is something that we all carry within to a certain extent, and I don't care what anyone says. Because in order not to have father wound, mother wound, you would have to have divine feminine, mother, divine masculine, father in divine union. And most probably they would still give you something, but they would be able to control the damage as it would be happening. But this is just a side note. We all carry to a certain extent mother wound and father wound. And there's so much content and so much information about the mother wound, including on my channel. I've done a lot of content. I have some self-paced materials and healing packages to deal with the mother wound, to understand and heal mother wound. If you come to me on sessions, you know that it's always something we start from: mother wound, father wound, inner child healing. And mother wound is specifically important because it is the feminine energy that teaches us and is responsible for self-love, the sense of self-worthiness, the understanding and the capacity to feel our emotions, to accept our emotions, and to auto-regulate. It all comes from the mother, from the feminine energy. This is why this wound is so important to be addressed and to be healed. But what we often forget is that a healing of a specific wound is not fully complete until the moment when we actually break generational trauma. So the reason you have mother wound is because your mother had a mother wound and was wounded, and she had mother wound because her mother had mother wound, and so on and so forth. This is because we don't raise our children through words that we speak, but through embodiment, right? Through energy. And sometimes this wound can manifest very differently within you and your mother and her mother and her mother, because we react differently to certain environments and certain traumas. The best example I always give to you guys is that the same wound creates avoidant attachment style and anxious attachment style, but it's different environment and different reaction within us, our uniqueness, how we react to that wound and that trauma that goes towards either one or another. Similarly to mother wound. So the same distortion can exist within you and your mother and her mother, and energetically this is passed from one to another, but it will manifest differently in the physical life in different behavioral patterns. And your healing is never complete until you break generational trauma. So many women sort of get stuck in healing that mother wound, right? So many women start from a place of shifting blame, which is actually not at all how we're supposed to heal, not just mother wound, but any kind of wound. It is nobody's fault. It is not about judging and blaming. It is always about understanding, right? Some women move past that and they already understand, men and women, okay, it's not my mother's fault. She too had that wound. She did not understand. She tried her best. So with love and compassion, I examine this wound and I examine her quality of her energy, not to judge, but to understand and heal. And that's the next step of healing that wound. And oftentimes, yet again, many women stop here, because to complete this process, it's not just facing it with understanding, forgiveness, but healing it to a point when we break that generational trauma. It literally stops with us. So I healed my energy and a distortion within my feminine energy to a point when I myself will not transfer that wound onto my children. And this is exactly what we're going to talk about in this series. I'm going to bring a couple of qualities, distorted qualities within feminine energy and scenarios to describe what behavior within you will cause that mother wound within your children. And if you are on a journey of healing, spirituality, inner work, however you want to call it, I do invite you to tune in, even if you don't have children, because first of all, us women, us feminines, one of the archetypes that we embody is the great mother, right? Is the caring protector, emotional protector of all. It is our responsibility collectively to teach future generations self-love, worthiness, emotion, self-regulation, handling emotions, right? And it is a distortion of a system within the modern parenting style that it is my child, stay away. In reality, we are meant to live in communities. And as much as this is your child, and yes, this is your soul contract and your responsibility, it is our collective responsibility to make sure that we bring in effort into educating future generations. And energetically, for embodiment, giving most of what we have to offer to future generations. So you may be an aunt, you may be a friend of someone who has children, you may have apprentices, you may have students, you may work with younger people, not just necessarily younger and young, but younger in the sense of less knowledge yet as a teacher. And it is your responsibility as well to make sure that that wound is not just understood, not just witnessed, not just healed, but the pattern and the chain is actually broken. It ends with you. So it's probably going to have about 5 or 6 episodes. I have few topics that I've already channeled. I just have to structure it. And starting next week, we're going to be talking about behaviors that you need to heal, break, understand, integrate in order not to give your child a mother wound. So a great series for anyone in reality who is on that path of healing, of awakening, of building self-awareness and doing that inner work, shadow work, but specifically important for the feminines who are mothers, want to be mothers. And in reality, even if your child is already 20 or 30, it is never too late to start walking towards alignment. So you will not completely, if your child is 20 already or more, you will not, through your own healing, you will not erase that wound from them if it was already created. It has to be their own path and their own journey. But through your healing and your awareness, you can actually start to hold space for them to heal that wound, that through lack of awareness before, through unhealed traumas that you held as you were a young mother, you created within them. And it can be a beautiful journey for you and your already adult child as well. So if it feels like something that would interest you, hit that follow button, and starting next week, we will get right to it.